For thousands of years, humanity has told stories of monsters, gods, and creatures that defied reason. Ancient maps marked seas with warnings, "Here be dragons," yet explorers still sailed. Fossils buried in stone became symbols of gods where belief and evidence blurred. High in silent mountains, whispers tell of beings beyond understanding. Across every civilization, the same creatures appear: dragons, mermaids, firebirds. Names change, but shapes remain. Modern science replaced legends, but not curiosity. We still look beyond the horizon. For every myth disproved, another mystery emerges from the data. Top 7. Yeti, the Himalayan giant. In the high ranges of the Himalayas, where the air thins and the world falls silent, locals have spoken for centuries of a creature they call the Yeti. The earliest written account came in 1832, when explorer Brian Houghton Hodgson described a tall, fur-covered figure moving upright across the snowfields of Nepal. Nearly 90 years later, in 1921, members of the British Everest Reconnaissance Expedition reported footprints far larger than any known man. In 1951, a photograph taken by mountaineer Eric Shipton revealed a single footprint in perfect snow, broad, human-like, yet over 12 inches long. Some suggested it belonged to a Himalayan brown bear. Others to an undiscovered primate adapted to extreme altitude. Modern DNA studies, conducted at Oxford between 2011 and 2013, linked alleged hair samples to ancient bear lineages, none fully matched known species. If the Yeti exists, it would stand between 6 and 7 feet tall, about the size of a mountain gorilla, but with denser hair and a more upright stride. No bones, no preserved remains have ever been found, only tracks, stories, and a belief that something still moves in the white silence of the Himalayas. Top 6. Kraken, the deep-sea leviathan. Beneath the cold, black waters of the North Atlantic, sailors once spoke of the Kraken, a creature so vast it could pull entire ships beneath the waves. Early accounts from the 13th century described a monster rising from the sea near Greenland, its tentacles longer than a ship's mast. In 1752, the Danish missionary Hans Egede recorded seeing a great sea monster off the coast of Norway, with a head wider than his vessel. Modern science points toward a real animal, the giant squid, Architeuthis dux. Stretching up to 13 meters, nearly the length of a London bus, it remained unseen by human eyes until 2004, when Japanese researchers filmed one alive in the deep. Scars on sperm whales prove that titanic battles still occur far below, between predator and prey. The Kraken may not be a myth at all, but the first sailor's description of a creature humanity had yet to name, the living echo from the dark, pressure-filled world beneath the sea. Top 5. Chupacabra, the blood myth of the Americas. In March 1995, farmers in Canavanas, Puerto Rico found their goats dead, each with 2 puncture wounds and no blood left. Locals called it El Chupacabras, the goatsucker. By 1996, reports spread across Mexico and Texas, describing a small gray creature with red eyes and spines on its back. In 2004, strange hairless animals were found near ranches in southern Texas. DNA tests showed mangy coyotes, yet the wounds didn't match any known predator. Cases in Chile and Brazil followed, and the chupacabra soon became a Latin American symbol, half myth, half biology. Today, under the desert moon, stories still whisper of something that moves beyond the fences, not a monster, but a mystery that refuses to die. Top 4. Makalembe, the living dinosaur of the Congo. Deep within the swamps of the Congo River Basin, where mist drifts above black water and silence hangs heavy, generations of locals have spoken of a creature powerful enough to stop the flow of rivers. Between 1909 and 1912, French missionaries wrote in their journals about an enormous animal, as large as an elephant, with a long neck, a crocodile-like tail, and reddish-gray skin. They called it Makalembe. In the 1980s, Western expeditions arrived at Lake Tele, carrying cameras, sonar, and boats, hoping to find a living dinosaur. What they found instead were hippos, crocodiles, and the enduring stories passed down by local tribes. Paleontologists argue that no dinosaur could survive in such humid, oxygen-poor wetlands, yet the legend remains deeply rooted in Congolese culture. To many in the region, Makalembe is not a monster, but a sacred guardian of the rivers and forests. Perhaps it was never a dinosaur at all, but a misidentified reptile, or a cultural memory of ancient fossils revealed when floods eroded the soil. In the murky waters of the Congo, the line between myth and science remains as blurred as the river's surface itself. Top 3 Thunderbird, Chimkun ls tran bietrigi bsmy. Among the Native American tribes of North America, the thunderbird is said to be a giant bird whose wings create thunder as it flies and lightning as it blinks. Early European settlers in the 1800s recorded tales of immense bird-like creatures sighted over the plains. One of the most famous stories emerged in 1890 when two Arizona ranchers claimed to have shot down a massive flying creature resembling a pterosaur, its wingspan stretching over 30 feet. Modern ornithology suggests that some thunderbird sightings could have been misidentified condors or pelicans, both with wingspans exceeding 3 meters. Fossil evidence also shows that prehistoric birds like Argentavis magnificens once ruled the skies, wings reaching 7 meters across, nearly double that of modern eagles. Though no physical evidence of a thunderbird has ever surfaced, the legend remains a powerful reminder of humankind's awe for the sky and the things it hides beyond the clouds. Top 2 Bunyip, the swamp phantom of Australia. In the early 19th century, British settlers in Australia heard Aboriginal stories of the bunyip, a mysterious creature that lurked in billabongs and swamps. Early colonial newspapers described it as part seal, part emu, with a deep, haunting roar that echoed across the wetlands. By 1847, newspapers in Sydney and Melbourne reported multiple alleged bones of the bunyip monster, though none were ever verified. Modern zoologists believe many sightings were likely misidentified seals that had swum far inland, or perhaps extinct giant marsupials remembered through oral tradition. The legend may preserve cultural memory of Diprotodon, a massive wombat-like creature that disappeared nearly 40,000 years ago. To this day, the bunyip lives on in Australian folklore, a story whispered near the water's edge when the night grows still, blending natural history with ancestral warning. Top 1 Orang Pendek, the Sumatran mystery ape. High in the rainforests of Sumatra, locals speak of the orang pendek, meaning short person in Indonesian, a small, muscular, human-like creature said to walk upright through the dense jungle. Reports go back centuries, but the first Western account came in 1923 from Dutch settlers who described an ape unlike any known primate. Researchers who investigated during the 1990s found footprints about half the size of a human's, with proportions suggesting a bipedal stride. Some scientists theorized the orang pendek could represent a surviving branch of Homo floresiensis, the hobbit species discovered in Indonesia in 2003, known to have lived until roughly 50,000 years ago. Others believe it's simply an unclassified gibbon or orangutan adapted for walking. If proven real, the orang pendek would bridge the gap between myth and anthropology, evidence that the human story in Asia is far from complete. Until then, it remains a whisper in the forest canopy, vanishing as quickly as it appears. From the frozen peaks of the Himalayas to the silent trenches of the deep ocean, from deserts to jungles, these 7 legends persist. Some have roots in science, others live only in story. Yet all reflect the same human desire to understand what lies beyond the light of our campfires. Perhaps the truth is not in the creatures themselves, but in the search, the endless curiosity that drives us to look into the unknown, and to ask, even now, what if they were real? Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.